Oh, dude, I'm pumped right now. Do you
How are you, brother?
Good. How are you, Ollie?
Good, brother. Feeling good.
It felt really good to watch your fight, cage side.
Yeah, I'm sure that one was a fun one to watch, cage side.
I was telling people, I was like, no, I was totally there. I was like right by the cage. And then I told Trisham, I was like, this was me. Ollie could probably hear me. I'm like, side, now, go to... That's it. And the table's shaking. My buddy's like, calm down. And I'm like, he knows what to do. But that place was, I've never been there before.
Yeah.
Springfield.
No, it's cool. It's a cool spot.
It's way bigger than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Because like on pictures, it's really small. And then on there,
yeah. And because it's like more of like a narrow venue.
Yeah.
It feels bigger. Like
and
with more people there.
The sound, because I'm down by the cage with you, just goes.
No, exactly.
Right down to
it's sick. It's sick. No, it feels like you're a gladiator, bro.
It
you
is.
Can
I
just
was
hear like the.
Dude,
I eat
buddy.
that shit up.
Well, I was gonna ask. We were talking about that. You appreciate that? You like the fans?
I mean, yeah. Like I was kind of going on earlier. I wrestled my whole life, and that wasn't necessarily like the most, spectated sport.
What?
Yeah. So like whenever I'd be at these basketball and football games, I would just like, I would see these dudes, some of them my friends, and I'd be cheering for them, and I'd be like, damn, bro, I wish some of these people were cheering like this for me.
You're like, where's my cheerleaders,
Yeah, exactly.
Dude?
Well, not even that, just like, I wish some people cared.
Yeah.
And
it's not just like the mom out there like
exactly. Yeah. And so like now whenever I have, thousands of people or whatever just all screaming for me or against me.
Yeah.
I still
eat that shit up?
Yeah, I still eat that shit up, man.
If they're like, boo, Ollie,
I love playing.
Like,
no.
I'm gonna fucking show you.
I can't wait till I walk out to the first crowd that boos me. It's gonna make me give me a big old smile on my face just so I can go knock their boy out.
That is the attitude when you were first walked in. It was like, oh yeah, nothing. It was like if insults and shit was like bullets, ping, ping, ping. It was just nothing was gonna get in there. You know what I mean? You've got this energy that you walk with. That's like, it's confidence for sure. It's confidence, but it's also not like if you're a bystander, you think this dude's an asshole, but if you know him, you're like, no, this dude is that determined. You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate it. Yeah.
And so it's awesome. That I'm totally gonna add it in because it has to go. Because the last time you were here, right? It was all the lights on. You were holding the mic. I don't know about you, but my arm was heavy because I'm holding this thing.
I was in the middle of a weight cut, so I was sitting there like, oh man, I haven't had a carbohydrate in like 6 days.
I haven't had a carb since 2003. And so no, I'm glad you get to come in and do this and kind of have a new atmosphere to it. It's a lot easier with this.
This place is beautiful.
And are you... Oh, Trisham's on the card that's right over there.
Mm-hmm.
The Memorial Hall's like right down the road. And I was going to say, I think we're going to do like a party thing. And so you guys all got to get in the zone. And I'm not going to do it before, but like if you guys want to walk 3 minutes, it's like, I think I'm going to come back in here, do some shit, and just have a good, like, I want all the guys and like my buddy, and I want him to be there for sure. His name's Adam. We went over, talked to you, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yep. Dude, he won't admit it. Okay. But he's not here to say shit. So like I could tell that the lens in his eyes switched when I'm like, hey, what's good, guys? And you guys all walk by. And he's like, wait a minute. He goes, you know all those guys? I go, yeah, both from the gym and just the show. And he's like, okay. And he like starts to like loosen up a little. And he's like, yeah, I think I could, give it a try, I'm like, it's a little different, man. But no, I want you to walk me through that fight too.
Okay.
Because you were like, okay, dude, I feel like a gladiator. I'm so curious to experience what that is. You know what I mean? Like as you're walking, is it just like...
Well, I mean, I'm still like, there's so many other better guys to ask about that because I'm still only 3 fights in. But from my experiences, it feels like you're a gladiator, and I love that, man.
You're like your weapons are right here.
It feels barbaric, bro. It feels barbaric, and that's why I kind of love it. But yeah, that one was different because my opponent was 6'4", 6'5", crazy tall, and I like kind of got a little bit of intel on him because it was the second college wrestler I've faced in a row now.
He wrestled in college.
Yeah, he was good in high school too, and a couple of my friends knew him, either went to high school with him or wrestled in college with him. So, I kind of knew like what his strengths were a little bit, as from what they were saying, but I didn't bank on that too much because you never know.
You never know,
especially with these amateurs. You never know. And had a good camp. Had a rough camp in the beginning. I got COVID, and then had some little minor injuries going on, and so like I didn't, and I was off for like a good month or two before that, so I was with injuries, so I was kind of just getting back into the mix of things and
powered through.
Yeah, so the camp was definitely probably my toughest, but like towards the end of the camp, I felt like I was full form again, and
I mean, that's the best part, like the best point that you want to be. Like, like whether it was, I remember we would do track or do this and do that. And I mean, I'm tallish and can run a long distance, like cardio was there. So I was like, of course it was long distance cross country and like track. And they were like, we want to go from the start all the way to like state. And so we map every workout up until that, which would be like a fight camp.
Yeah.
And they go, so we want you to peak at like almost peak at regionals and then peak up here. Right, even if you peak kind of like below whatever it was, you're still getting up to that level, not peaking in the middle of the season and then dying and dropping off. So, and I knew that, like I said, you were the guy who had the notebook.
I was gonna say, for this fight, I had the most ridiculous game plan. I had like 6 pages of like, because I'm just a madman, man. I when it comes to like. It's my way of just like dealing with my anxiety. I just like do like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? In every scenario, I'm just writing like what I can do. Every scenario.
Right.
And this one was different.
Well, I wanted to say I want to see if I saw something or I just caught it on the wrong way. Were you going to shoot?
No, I got clipped.
You got clipped as you were going to shoot?
I got clipped because I was walking in and like he caught me with the teep. And then right as he did that, he caught me with the right hand. But as he caught me with the right hand, I was like going in on the shot because he teeped. And I was like, okay, there's the leg.
Grab it,
which, pull. Like, my whole plan was to strike with this kid.
Yeah.
But then I saw how his legs were there, and I saw him give me the teep. And that's when I was like, oh, man, I got to do this. Like, and it's funny because Trey was talking to me before the fight, and he was like, coaching me up, telling me, like, this is what to do, going through the game plan, and I'm just like, I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to wrestle. I've been trying. I was kind of trying to, like, keep. My last 2 fights have been mostly on the feet, so.
Well, the last one, the one before that was like I talked to everyone. It was like a demonstration. Like it was like a perfect. I mean, honestly. Like
that's my best performance for sure, in my opinion. I was most proud of that one.
Perfect. Like we did the draw 2, like draw the 2. I was watching this punch, like right by your eyes, and you were like, bam, and this kid goes, shit. like you can see clearly there's a discrepancy in the level here. And then the same thing with this one. Not saying that you didn't get to do what you did because you choked him unconscious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen that. And you did it right. I like how I made a comment like he turned towards me, but you legit had to like as soon as you rotated to the side and you had it locked in and went behind the head, I was like, I get a perfect view of this guy going unconscious.
Yeah, man, it was something else.
Did you tell him? Did you say he's out? He's out? Could
no.
you feel it?
So I get in on the shot. He like tries to guillotine me, and I like for a second there was like, oh shit, but then it was like. I was good.
I can feel the gap.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I literally had my hand right there, I think. And so I was completely fine. And then he switched to an armbar, and I was over top of him, so I had the lock.
That's what it was.
And
so the armbar. Yeah.
If I would have tried to stand up, I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
But
so you just stayed with it
because I put my pressure into him.
Yeah.
He was like I was so much stronger than he was, so I was able to break the lock by putting my pressure into him because I knew if I stood up, it would have been.
Yeah, it would have been extension.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it wouldn't have been fun. And so once I did that, he tried to Peterson me, which weird little history on that move. The only like 2 matches I lost pretty much my whole senior year leading up to the state tournament. I was beating the kids, and then I got Petersoned.
No, so you were like, never again.
Dude, I said never again the first time, and I said never again the second time, and
Yep.
I guess it finally worked. But he tried to do that to me, and I literally like kind of smiled to myself during the fight. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
You were like, thank
And then I got on his back, and yeah, man, I just kind of worked through the whole system that we go over every week in the gym.
you. Mm-hmm.
You know, I isolated the wrist, sacred race, and to the neck.
Well, that's
And he was in like the most helpless position ever because I had him body triangled and like I had my leg wrapped around his ankle.
yeah.
Like
I
I had his ankle locked, his body triangle. I mean, I knew it was in, but I was like, dude, this guy is so bony. I don't know if I have his neck or if there's his wrist in there. Like, I feel like I have his neck,
He's
but like
this.
and plus with the 4-ounce gloves, like you can't really get like the same
Yeah.
leverage that you really can in the
The 8 ounce.
Yeah. Not even the 8
Or
ounce.
like-
It's just like whenever, you're whether you're just wrestling or anything, like,
Well,
it's harder to get that. It's
the
harder
wrap.
to get that. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I could just feel the energy leaving his body. It was like, it was cool, man, because like,
That is the calmest way that someone has said I've choked someone unconscious. I can feel the energy leave the body.
I just
Dude,
like, I cannot tell you how many times I've fantasized about putting somebody to sleep in like the cage, bro. And so like whenever it was happening, like,
Yes.
man, God bless me with 2. Like I knocked a kid out unconscious, and then I choked a kid out unconscious in my first 3 fights.
In
so.
3 fights as an amateur. Well, also something that was universal to you was that it's not like this kid. It's not like he's not an amateur. He is, but like he doesn't just walk in with someone who has no experience, 0-0. Like it's very, very different. And another thing that you brought up earlier before we were talking on camera was that you are putting yourself in positions to where you're not the big fish. Like, you know what I mean?
No, this morning we had like 5 guys that are actively fighting in the UFC in the room, and it was nice to feel like the nail.
Yeah.
Like Isaac
Like you got
Bulgarian, Peruvian necktied me.
Mm-hmm. Isaac, come on. We went to school.
Never gotten caught with that one in the gym.
Right.
I just got up and said, "No way."
That's what you said?
No way, bro.
And
no
he
way.
goes-
He
goes,
just
"Yeah."
smiled. He just, man, that guy's good.
Yeah.
But I'm 20 years old, so
Dude, that's insane.
I
Not to say
like-
that you're 20. Like,
no,
whoa, you're
no,
young.
I know
But I'm like,
I know. Yeah, I have enough. Like people say that to me a lot. But yeah, no. I have a lot of time to close the gap. So
well, I mean, it just
I
means,
really enjoy going with those guys and getting my butt kicked a little bit.
well, it's like if you didn't do that, then you'd be better. You'd be worse off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
and
don't- you don't need it.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell everybody like, yeah, man, like I'm beating those guys.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
like come on, man. Like those guys are like serious pros. Those are professionals that are doing it at the highest level of the sport. Like I came up here to Kansas City to surround myself with individuals like that.
So, you grew up closer to Springfield?
Mm-mm.
Or no?
The reason I sell so many tickets out there is because I have a lot of people that, from my hometown, like it's a small town, so like I have a lot of people that just naturally kind of rally around me because of that, because I'm just doing something different.
Yeah.
But
That's cool to have that support.
oh, it's awesome, man. Like I love it. There's a lot of doubters that come with that though, so
Mm-hmm.
I love to continue to prove people wrong. It just makes me happy. That's kind of the best part about it.
It feels, it's not, it
One of the
doesn't
best
feel like
parts
an
about
ego
it.
thing, but it does feel good to be able to be like, yeah, I proved you wrong. Like, what are you going to say now?
Yeah. No,
And-
I love doing it. I love, everything about it. So,
And I was leading into that because there's people that, not to call anyone out specifically, but it's if you're not like comfortable with yourself essentially, then you're not going to do that stuff that you have to do to be better. And then if you don't do that, then like you said, you're going to get to a point where like maybe athletically you get to a point and you go, okay, I'm really good. But then you have some people who are just knocking people out left and right. They've been doing it for 8 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they're a couple years older, and then you're sitting there in the cage as they lock the bolt, and you're like, well, I don't think I can lie to myself anymore. Like, that's a terrible place to be.
No, yeah, exactly. You know, Trey, coach always says the game will catch up to you if you don't work hard. So
perfect dude to learn from. I mean, honestly. And it was really, like, cool because this has kind of been taking up a lot of time. It's been taking up a lot of effort. And now that we kind of have, like, we're dialing in a team and all this stuff's really coming together. So the less that I have to be in this room from, you know, daylight till nighttime, I'm like, I go, Trey, please, I was like, you didn't forget about me. He goes, I'm waiting for you to come back. What are you talking about? And I got to meet him out there and, you know, Gomi and all these guys that I haven't gotten to see. But it was kind of weird to see, like, my buddy having a starstruck type deal. Just, I'm like, I don't know. They're just regular human beings. Like, after he's like, I'm Adam. Like, talking to you. And I'm like, he's a human, man.
Oh, are you talking about Trey?
No, like, I was like, hey, how's it feel to meet your first, this is my buddy Adam. I'm talking to him after we meet Trey. I'm like, how's it feel to meet a UFC fighter? He goes, what? Like, Trey's in the UFC. He's a professional fighter. He goes, and you know that guy? I go, I've been taught by that guy. And he's like, oh, that's, like, I don't know if he anticipated or didn't anticipate me being in, like, the gym with you guys. But the atmosphere that I keep cultivating, like, around the idea of fighting, and I keep getting asked, and I keep having people, like, not come at me, but, like, why do you care about this? I'm like, do you not hear the people? Like, how can you not be around these dudes? Like, I don't get it. Like, why would I be around someone who complains about their job over someone who is looking 3 years down the line at 20, and they're like, oh, shit, dude, I'm like, my future's about to change, you know? It's very contagious. And I told my parents as well for that fight, Synergy 6, with you. I was like, yeah, I'm watching Ollie, I'm watching Mason. And she was like, I don't think I could be there if you were fighting. And I was like, and you mentioned your mom.
Yeah, man.
I was like, does she still see you as like, oh, Ollie, like little Ollie?
No,
or does she see you as the mace that's you on your arm now?
Yeah, just got this done.
Super, super dope.
Yeah, man. I really like it.
How fresh is that?
It's like a week and a half.
Okay.
It's still healing, but yeah, pretty much drew it up myself, and I always said I wanted to put like a mace on my right arm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Knock him out.
You are a gladiator.
But everything I did, like, you know, like my right arm, I'm right-handed, you know, everything. So it's like, I don't know. I like it. I'm pretty proud of it.
I want to get back to something if you're cool with it. But you were saying, because it's something that training took this away from me, was the anxiety part. Yeah. Like, I used to be terrified. Like, I'd be like, oh, no, if there's an altercation, I've got a kiddo to protect, you know? When you say anxiety, is it fight anxiety or is it anxiety? Like, you know, like, oh, I've had it my whole life, but competitiveness and wrestling and this
just
stuff.
Just anxiety about just, like, everything, honestly. The weight cut, the fight, the opponent, everything. Like, you still, like, anybody that tells you they don't have, like, you know, a little bit of anxiety about it's lying.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not fear. It's just, you know, man, I got to go out there and perform, you know. So, yeah.
What's that quote? Trey had the quote. It's your body getting prepared for war.
Yeah, like that's what he says nerves are. He's like your opponent's got them too. Like, nerves are just your body preparing for war, I think is what he says. Yeah.
I've had multiple guys come in here and say that, and I'm like, that's perfect than saying I'm nervous.
If you're not nervous, you're not gonna be on edge enough to see everything and, you know,
dial it in. Yeah, it's not like if you're
and some people dial it in really well, and others it takes a little bit. But you know, if you can learn how to dial in those nerves and really use them to your advantage.
How do you just let it? How do you dial in your nerves?
I still haven't perfected it yet, to be honest with you. My second fight, I felt like I perfected it. This fight, you know, it wasn't that I was nervous, but I had, you know, I was a little nervy before going out there, and I felt like I kind of ran at him, and I didn't really. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy anymore. I used to be that guy, and I just feel like in fights I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Like I need to settle in, and I need to impose my will through my striking first, and then I can get to the grappling. You know,
Right.
I'm not the kind of guy to run across the cage and shoot for a takedown. It's just that's not the style that I think you will see from me, really, hopefully ever again.
Right.
But you know,
There's certain
some
situations.
people can work. Some people it works for. You know, I've watched Mace and Pillow sprint across the cage and knock somebody almost unconscious.
Yeah, when he broke his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
Animal.
the first Mace and Pillow fight I ever went to.
That was the first one you saw?
Yeah, I just moved. That was like a year and a half ago.
That's the best one to get to know Mason.
It was like a year and a half ago, and I was still like not even fully training at the gym full time because I was still in college wrestling, and so I was only in there once, twice a week. So it wasn't like I was like I wasn't like an established fighter on the roster.
Right.
So yeah, no, those are always fun fights, but that's not. I feel like I make more mistakes when I do that.
Yeah.
It's easy to expose yourself.
Or like if you're going, I've seen one where I like to follow some of these guys and do the fight breakdowns, and they like go over something that happened in like a professional fight and then do what happened. And one of them was like, most of the time, even if someone like feints a fake, like I'm going in, then they go in, the person already has that notion that they're going to do it. So they have something ready.
They have something lined up. Yeah, no, that's the...
And you don't know that you come in with your hands a little lower.
It was a weird... Because a lot of my game in the striking side of things is I like to stay around the outside and poke the awkward angles and, use my jab. And,
right.
My jab sets everything up, but that kid had such a long reach that I was like, okay, I'm going to have to take on a whole different style of fighting. I'm going to have to work on getting inside and going to the body. And
angle
the
changes.
Head. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, my whole game plan should have just been to wrestle that kid the whole time.
You should have been like, oh no, dude, I'm totally.
He was so skinny. I was just like, man, like I just knew I was a lot bigger than him, and he's a really cool kid. He'll be pretty good, I'm sure. I mean, his first two fights, he finished both kids in the first round with the submission. So.
Oh wow, okay. So,
that was the thing. It's like Nick Meck went to high school with him, and he was like, yeah, man, like you'll be straight, like, but his like maybe just stay clear, like. His guard because like his jiu-jitsu is really good, and I was like, so the whole fight like that was kind of like planning around that, like the way that like one would prepare for like Charles Oliveira, like that's how I was preparing for him. Is like I was putting myself in all the dangerous positions situationally, just working that, thinking, and it helped because there were a couple of positions where if I wouldn't have done everything right,
you're like oh no, I'm good now.
No, yeah,
it's like I
they were never
for that.
But yeah, once I got on his back, his neck was there for the taking, so I snatched it up.
And it's hilarious because until I shaved, but I had like a bunch of beard hair like underneath, and I was like that's the trick. You can't feel where the chin's at, and I'm like this kid. I'm like how tall is he? He's fighting Ollie, and then I see Ollie walk out. And you're like, I think you're the biggest I've ever seen you walk out.
Yeah, and no, I was big going into this one. I rehydrated way more than I needed. Way more than more than I needed to, because
right.
Water is you get as much of it as you can, because
you need water
especially after the weight cut. I went almost 24 hours without really putting anything in my system. Yeah, and as I'm sauna and hot tubbing, so it's like,
It's good that like also Trey's there.
Yeah, it's crazy that though, because like you drink I drank like the first gallon and a half, and usually whenever I drink a gallon and a half, it's like I gotta piss like
right
that.
Away. It goes
and it's every 30 minutes, and you're just like that's how the weight process goes, because you don't have any sodium in there to hold the water, because you're cutting sodium, and so I haven't had sodium in a week, right. And I just drank a gallon and a half, but all of that water just goes to your muscles, because I didn't have to start going to the bathroom until I was like 3 gallons in, and then it started to really kick up. But like all of that just went to my muscles.
Well, I think that's because I remember, like Yoel Romero was giant.
Yeah, the fact that guy, I think, he made 185, didn't he? Yeah, he made 185. That's crazy.
And he just a specimen. And then I was like, why?
They said
how
he walked
is
around
that?
at like 220, I think, is what they used to say.
Well, it's like, so the more like muscle you have,
Yeah,
exactly what you just said, it
The
goes
more
right
it
back
goes.
to there, and it absorbs there first before it does its thing.
I almost was bloated up in the fight because I just like I maybe ate too much.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you have a favorite meal or place? Like that it's tradition.
Whenever I fight if I fight in Kansas City anytime soon, I think if I had to go somewhere, if I had to go somewhere out here, it would either be, I think it would be Martin City down south in South KC, but it's got to be the original location. All the other locations I don't fuck with, but the original location, the brewery one,
yeah,
they've got a bunch of like dope draft beers and. It's awesome, man. I like that place. But that wouldn't be like my, I'd probably go get some Mexican food or something. There's a lot of good taco places around
I
here.
read Mexican food. All I saw was burrito.
That's
chips,
what we
queso.
did. That's literally what we did. Me, Mason,
Dude.
Justin, and my buddy J Mac all went to we went to a Mexican place, and they were all making fun of me because me and Mason were just like.
You were like,
like how you see
starving.
I'm literally just like sitting there. Just taking it, like, and yeah, it was beautiful.
What is it? It's like I remember like when Nick, it was Nick, and then you. I don't know if I'm not as young and hip as you are, but when I go to social media and I go on like the DMs page and I start looking through it, it has like notes. Is that something you share to everybody? Like a note?
I did it like the week leading up to the fight. That was the first time I ever did it. But Nick does it, but that's just like, yeah, everybody sees
all
that.
Food. Yours was food, man.
I can't tell you, bro.
How the fuck? Why would, like, for me that's torture. Like when I watch the Food Network.
Oh, I love doing that kind of stuff, bro.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You're mentally tougher.
I have to literally like my friend will leave the house, go get groceries. Whenever he leaves, I'm sitting there scrolling through like food TikToks or something, or like Instagram reels, and when he comes back 30 minutes later, I'm still doing it, and like that is how much, and it's a problem, and probably shouldn't be doing that, and like like I'll be at night in bed just, man, that was so good.
It sounds like it's almost real pornography.
Dude, it's literally like but like it actually does it, believe it or not, it somehow deep down does help me, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Because it makes me feel like I'm maybe eating these things.
Yeah, you were like,
you're
like, oh, that was that chocolate? Oh, that's good.
But,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mental game for sure. But that was the first time I saw Ollie Mace.
Yeah.
Doing the food TikTok. I go, did he talk to Nick?
Nick, he posts like pictures of like him eating like giant bowls of ice cream. I'm like, with everything, like chocolate chips, whipped cream, cookies on it. I'm just like, dang.
I'm like, how you shred it, dude? You're like, what do you? He's like, this looks
some guys, bro. They just
ice cream.
Hack it and still look like Nick. Nick's a savage, though.
He is, though.
No, but yeah. We went and got Mexican, and then that night we went to a cool like steakhouse place, and then I think I ate like another meal after that. I think I got like a gas station pizza.
You were like, I don't know. I ballooned up. I don't know. I was like, did you go to Mexican food, steakhouse, and then you went to a gas station? So you told me 3 meals?
In the morning, I drank my coffee. I don't know I don't remember. I think we just like went to the gas station, got like Hostess cakes or something maybe, and like then like I had oatmeal for my second breakfast, and yeah, maybe you learn. You live and you learn. Oh yeah. Every fight, and next time I won't maybe be getting that bloated before a fight.
I mean, it wasn't like the first fight, the performance.
No, it definitely didn't. But the first, I mean, like I need to put better things maybe in my body is what I'm saying.
For sure.
And yeah, the first time I made the cut to 145, I didn't hydrate enough, and I walked into the cage at like think I was like 53.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was
that's
like 53, man. I was really light. But that's why I felt like I was so quick that night. I was so light, bro. I was ripped. But this one, I walked into it a lot heavier.
now
Above 60.
when
above
it comes
60.
to, I'm always curious about fight prep, or not fight prep, but like the day of the fight. So like, so you've weighed in, everything's good.
Yeah.
You eat your Hostess cake. But is there like a set? Because for me, I'm a very like regimented scheduled.
after weigh-ins, no, I don't. I like, I drink a whole gallon of water with a little bit of salt in it.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that.
And
Yeah.
like this time around, I forgot the pink salt in my house, so I just like kind of sprinkled a little bit of liquid IV in there, and I think it probably just did the same thing.
That shit's really helpful. It's really good.
I love liquid IV. I finished a whole pack in 24 hours leading up to the fight, so drank a lot of it. But yeah, I drink a gallon of water, let that sit, then I start like slowly eating some fruit because like your body is so like depleted, like you're literally like
Give me something.
starving to death.
Yeah.
Like, it's but I just like, if your body's depleted or whatever, you just need to give it time to like, even whenever I did like, even on smaller scale weight cuts, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just about like your body hasn't had food in a little bit and it hasn't had like real food in a little bit. So like,
Right.
I always try to go slowly into it because if I don't, I just go throw up. It goes to my stomach so hard and it's just like, oh God, you get sick.
That's what I was like wondering because
we waited like 2 hours I think before we went to go get food. We were just eating like I did fruit and then I had like some candy that I was just eating like Reese's, peanut butter cups because Reese's? A, I hadn't had that in a minute, and then B, I think getting some of that sugar is in you slowly.
Very beneficial.
It was like the mini one, so it was just minimal amounts, and I was just like getting that sugar in me kind of woke me up a little bit.
Well, if I can be blunt right now, you like, I met Ollie, who had one fight, and I have Ollie in front of me right now. You seem very like tunneled. You know what I mean? Like you were already. I think when I first met you, it was kind of like, yes, I know this is the path, and now it's like you know exactly where to go, what to do, more focused, in tune, confident to walk. Is that just from knowing the preparation and the things you've put in place?
I think it's just up until now, I felt like I've never been in a room that was like at the top of the food chain. You know what I'm saying? Like right. I've always had good rooms. I've always had good partners to work with. But this is like the first time where it's like, okay, the best guys in my room are the best guys around here.
Yeah, correct.
And the way training with those guys and like, day in, day out, having, Trey talking about how we should expect to win, it gives me just a different kind of confidence because I know I'm training with the best guys in the area.
Absolutely.
And so I know that I'm getting better rounds on a daily basis than for the most part, as of right now, any of my opponents around here.
Well, and something that I don't know if it's the venue, the people, the fans, but there's so many variables when it comes to like walking in the cage. And I was telling you earlier, Mason's loss, and I told it with Trisham too. It like, I don't know if you watch like shitty shows like Ghost Adventures, but where they're like, I can't shake whatever this is. Yeah. I literally couldn't shake the loss, and I wasn't even there. I wasn't in there. I was just outside, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
sucks. It's part of the game, man. Most people don't walk out of the game unscathed. Yeah. And you take that loss on the chin. You look at what you did right. You look what you did wrong, and you come back from it, which I know is exactly what Mason's gonna do. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's no way. He's a dog, man. Like, I mean. My favorite memory of Mason is, I think it was when I first started, and I would get fucking frustrated, like gloves on, like fuck, like hit him, and I'm like this, and I just look, and he's like, dude, and he's like, what is it? And I'm like, I don't know what to do, and he's like, all right, let me show you something, and we did like 3 5-minute rounds of him working something. He goes, now you try, and then I'd work it, and then he's like, no, do that again. That hand wasn't in the right spot. Like really putting in time to like work with me individually. And then he would just do it in a second. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm on his shoulder. And then down I go. And I'm like, wow, how'd you do that? And I think it's just not only do I know him personally, but like memories and shit like that. I haven't gone with you.
Yeah.
And by the looks of you, it'll happen, but I'm terrified. Just FYI, because you'd be like, "Hey Chase, how's it going?" And then it goes podcast mode to like, "We're in the gym now." And I'm like,
Yep.
and I'm just like, "Oh no."
Yeah. But no, Mason, he's a great guy. We train together a lot. He's one of my main partners in camp. So, I know him pretty well, and he's a good friend of mine. So I know that he's just gonna take, like I said, take this loss on the chin and come back from it. We pretty much had the whole most of the fight week we were kind of hanging out, getting our mentally prepared, and like having guys like that, because like a lot of those guys are a lot older than me, and like they know that like I'm younger in the game than they are, and like he's a big help.
It's nice to pass that.
He's
down
a big help
too.
every fight. And same with Nick Mack, like we were talking about earlier. Like all those guys, like they just do it. They help me out a lot. So
is that because of the wrestling background? So they have
me, Nick, and Mason in particular, we work a lot of just solely wrestling together.
Right.
Especially for Nick's build up to his camp. Last time we did like a lot of play wrestling every day. He would text us, tell us to bring our wrestling shoes in.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like going with those bigger, stronger guys.
Yeah.
And
says the bigger, stronger guy.
but that's what I'm saying is that whenever I'm back to being like 165 plus pounds, I can at least be strong enough to actually give them good looks.
It's good work. Like it's better to
but like I said, they're 20-30 pounds bigger than me. I love going with them.
Going
with those, and that's why like we have such a variety, is because going with the smaller guys like Gomi and Lucas and like those guys give me such a variety, because it's like those guys are a lot quicker than the bigger guys that I'm going with, and then those bigger guys that I'm going with are a lot stronger than the littler guys I'm going with, and I'm at like the perfect spot where I'm a 145er, and I can have I can balance both sides and be like, all right, I'm big enough to go with the bigger guys, and I'm small enough to go with the littler guys.
Right, and when you get both those meshed together, then you get to choke a dude out unconscious in front of Chase.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. No, that was glorious, but I did the Lyoto Machida,
I did. I did.
Knees.
I did. I said, I was like, you know what? That's the one. I love the respect aspect of it, but now that you said it that way, I'm like, what's that respect?
It was absolutely like 60% respect, 40% like I love that. Like just I think that's so cold. Just like respect, like bowing to the deceased.
You were the calmest motherfucker with these one-liners, and I'm over here like, chills. You know what I mean? And but I watch a lot of one now.
Yeah, no, like, I love one championship.
Holy shit!
Those guys like
battle.
Do you know? I this could be just BS that I heard from my buddy, but apparently there's never been like an official weigh-in for one championship.
Oh.
So
do you know Nathan? Nathan?
Yeah.
Is that the guy you were?
No. I just heard this from my other buddy, but like, yeah, no. That I wish if there's like no weigh-ins, that's perfect.
If you no weigh-in.
There's no weigh-ins, that's amazing. And there's still like, dang, bro, what's that kid's name? He's the 155 champion.
Oh, the dude who's like, he's like incredibly
Tonley.
quick. Yeah.
Tonley, that guy. He's huge, bro.
He's big.
Dude,
he's big.
He's big. He's really big, and like he's so cold, bro. He was on the Ultimate Fighter first, and then like his grappling wasn't up to par.
Mm-hmm.
It was the season that Ryan Hall won, and then they started working together, and now they're like best friends, and I think that like that's why he's so good now. But I mean, it's interesting. I really hope that PFL buys out Bellator. I think that'd be sick.
I think that's the move. To be honest with you,
I think that'd be good for the sport.
It's better than UFC buying WWE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you go onto the episode where I have Nathan on, there's a section where he talks about his weigh-ins for one. Dude, blow your mind.
Brutal.
No, he did everything right. Like everyone does it regimented, right? But then they check for HIV and all that shit, like blood test. he goes, the other guy who is he's from China. And so over there, they have a team of scientists that really work and dial in like how your body is going to work and react to steroids.
Mm-hmm.
The dude denied a blood test, and he goes, "What?" And he walked in, and of course that's the one where Nathan was fully admitting to being like, "Yeah, I got knocked out." The guy had heavy hands. Come to find out, he was a super soldier for China, and this was, long time ago. He's like, I think it's better now, but still, when I see people like, one of my favorite fights to watch was I watched Jonathan Haggerty, the 125 champ, and he fought. Oh, don't worry about that. That's all. I got that dialed in. They won't even hear that. And so when he fought, and he was like a 10-1 underdog, and he got the belt, then he had to fight Rod Tang, the dude with the chin
of iron.
Bink, bonk, bonk. Yeah, he's
hey man, everybody. You saw what happened to Drew Dober this weekend?
No.
Before he got knocked out.
Did he? Yes. Oh my gosh.
I thought that guy was like unknockoutable. Like that guy's literally knocked people down with his chin. Literally, they like punched him with the right hand, and then his chin is so iron that they were just like, oh, and they let that
go.
Force,
and he goes,
the force of it literally like took them off their feet. So
oh damn!
Whenever I think Matt Frivola is his name, that he knocked him out.
Yes.
Crazy, bro.
I didn't. I was curious on how the fights went. Did you watch the main card too? With Cejudo and
I watched
Aljamain?
the two fights. I watched Gilbert versus Bilal, and then I watched Aljo versus Cejudo.
How did the Burns one go?
Oh man, so I don't like Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
So, not a big fan. So
did he win?
And I'm a big Gilbert Burns guy. Yeah, he 50-45'd Gilbert. 50-45'd him, bro.
Damn.
Gilbert didn't look like he belonged in the cage with Bilal Muhammad. It makes me mad, but hey, he's good, man.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
really good. At that level, anything can happen. I think I read something where like he started MMA at like 26.
My age? He started at 26?
Yes, I think he started at 26, which is crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, how does it feel to be? Are you like the youngest in the room?
I think I'm the youngest on the like out of all the guys that have fights under our gym at our gym. I'm the youngest guy.
That's impressive. That you have 3 fights, right? That you're making waves in this fight game, and you're still so young and very focused on the goal at hand.
Yeah.
And I know that it was a transition from, and I know we talked about it when you were first in here, but to be honest, I can't really remember because I was like just nervous to do it.
Yeah.
But when you went from wrestling and then went into MMA, you did MMA near your small town?
So I started training MMA in high school
Mm-hmm.
at a gym called 21st Century, and those guys are great. Dalton and Benny are great guys, and I just I was moving up here to go to college, so I'm not gonna move back to my hometown to go train.
Right.
I'm on to bigger and better things. Not that their gym is not a place where you could train, but like it's
not marathon MMA.
It's not marathon MMA. I love training where I train. I love all my team guys. Love my coaches. So it's a lot of fun. I like being up here.
Well, I like to get into the depths of like how they moved into it. Like, Mason had trouble with the law, and he's like, I'd be in a lot of trouble if I didn't find MMA. And I'm like, is yours that's you?
For sure.
Go into it.
I'm the same way, man. I ran into some trouble in high school. Was definitely.
Don't look at me like that.
I just don't know how much I want to say.
You're good. Hey, by the way, I edit the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're like, hey, I can't say that, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll bleep it out.
I got into my fair share of trouble in high school. I think it was because I just didn't really have that thing. Really, I was good at wrestling, but I didn't really put as much time into it as I should have.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got caught up with the whole partying thing pretty early. I would say I got drunk when I was 14. That's when I started drinking.
Freshman
and
year,
then
really?
whenever I started smoking at 15. So, it was like I was kind of a fuck off in high school, and like a lot of people kind of thought that, and maybe don't think it anymore, but
yeah.
A lot of people really kind of thought I was gonna be maybe a bum, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
And whenever I changed and I started finding fighting and wrestling, and I started kind of blending the two and started really working hard, realizing how good I could be at it. Because fighting was the first thing I'd ever had where, like, a coach really told me, like you could be really good, man.
Like a future?
Yeah, no, I never had I was always too short to play quarterback in football, which was my position. I was always not fast enough to be a running back. I was always too scrappy to be a good technical wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But fighting is kind of the perfect blend of everything that, like, I'm good at.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, fighting is easily, I just, I feel like I enjoy it more than any sport I've ever done.
Right.
And it's not a sport. I don't want to say it's a sport. It's war.
It is war.
So,
if you don't believe me, be cage side when Ollie chokes him out.
Yeah,
Do you do it for your family? Like, do you have big aspirations for your family? Like, I see that gold watch. I'm like, you like it'll be real one day, dog.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, it's a nice watch. It's a Seiko, but I spent a little bit of paycheck to treat myself after the fight.
Yeah, dude, that's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah,
it's just that, like, doing this, it's what, like, you find that thing, and when you find that thing, then you have an unlimited untapped potential, and then once you find that, that's all that you really need, and then shit starts showing up where you're like, how much money? What? I can do that?
Yeah, I'm still just a measly broke college student at the moment, but I
like the confident humility in you, though.
I'll be there someday where I'm buying Rolexes and stuff. I'm
sure.
Lamborghini yachts, like Conor McGregor. Have you seen that shit, bro?
No.
He has like a Lamborghini yacht. It's like,
they make cars.
Yeah.
I guess they make boats.
It's a yacht.
I guess they make
It's custom made for the dude.
He goes Lamborghini.
Yeah, literally. Just calls Lamborghini probably the CEO on cell phone. But no.
I want one to match the car. And that's the thing too, is like, I did this for a while, and then up until like last week, I have like family. They're like, whoa. They're like, it's actually good. I'm like, thank you,
bro.
And I'm like, thank you.
Thank you. Literally, I can very much relate to that, bro. I think not really my family, because my family's awesome about being, like, I have a really strong support system. My dad, my mom, my brother are very encouraging. My mom actually didn't want me to fight at all.
Oh.
Funny story. Have you ever heard of the show Kingdom?
Yes, I love that show, dude.
So.
With the brothers, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that fucking show.
Yeah. No, so that, like, I love that show too.
Yeah.
And I begged my mom to watch the show because my mom was really against what I did, and I wanted her to kind of, like, maybe I thought maybe she would enjoy the show because it's a decent show, and, like, it kind of shows, like, the glorious side to fighting.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't, like, the innocence isn't really lost quite yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, first time I sat down with her, the first episode, complaining, I don't want to watch this. And then I go back home to Kansas City, and 2 days later she calls me, I love this show, and then it was like, she liked me fighting.
Yeah.
And
it's more to it than what you think.
Yeah, so my whole family's very supportive. I think a lot of my close friends, like, they always believed in me, but, like, they kind of thought that maybe I was blowing smoke up their ass a little bit.
Yeah.
At first, whenever I was like 17, 18, being like, yeah, I want to be some big tough MMA fighter.
And they're like, okay,
like,
sure.
Okay, we love you, Ollie, but, like, we'll see.
Name me a successful person that doesn't happen to, where they're like, I'm gonna do this, and they go, get out of here.
Yeah, I used to have, even whenever I used to tell people, like, that I was doing this, they would just kind of laugh at me at first before I had my first fight.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, I still get people that, like I think I was in the sauna cutting weight for my last fight, and some guy was telling me that everything I was doing was completely pointless because the world would be completely destroyed in like 10 years. I was like, dang, bro, do people think like that? Do people really think like that?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Was he in the sauna?
Yes.
He's like, it doesn't matter.
Dude,
I'm like, then why are you in the sauna?
Some of those old dudes that go in the sauna, they're losing their minds, man.
They've been in there for too long. They're like, oh my gosh, I've been here for like 2 hours, I think.
Dude, I'll be in there like suffering, and like it's like 210, 20 degrees. And some old guy walks in, sits at the top, and is like, it's not hot enough. It's like, what do you mean it's not hot enough, bro? It's literally like if we had a glass of water and set it down, it would boil.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was at Genesis, And I was like, you know what? I hear Joe Rogan talk about saunas being very beneficial. So me
I
and my
love
buddy work
sauna.
out.
I love doing sauna work. I think it's very beneficial. I think mentally it's one of the closest things that you can get to like a fight. Or I used to think of it like the closest thing I could get to a wrestling match because the only way to lose is to quit.
Right.
And
I was gonna say describe the mentality because I'm right there with you, dog.
yeah, no, whenever I'm in the sauna, like I'm always just thinking it's gonna be a lot harder when I'm cutting weight. It's gonna be a lot harder when I'm cutting weight. So like I try to hit the saunas. I'll sauna sometimes 3-4 times a week even.
Yeah.
Just for 30-45 minutes, sometimes even an hour after my workouts. If I'm doing like plyometric stuff or whatnot, maybe I go on a run, and then after the run, I sit in the sauna for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't like. I tried to take my phone and my headphones in, and I'm like, fuck me, my phone says it's too hot. So I'm like, now I can't listen to music.
No, I can't even bring my AirPods in there.
Yeah, there's no way to listen to anything. You're just
No.
like, it's me and my thoughts. And you're like, how better to get in tune with like breaking those mental barriers.
That's how I think about it. I really do. And you know, like I said, I'm still not even perfect at it, so that's why I love to keep sauning, and so I can keep breaking those barriers that still need to be broken.
I haven't done any of the cryo shit though, like where you get in the cold.
Oh, I haven't done really any of that either. I take cold showers sometimes, like in the morning if I'm like really, really dragging ass and I'm like really tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll turn my faucet just barely on and I'll just sit there for like 10 seconds and then like freak out and like crank it up.
Well,
but like it wakes you up.
It does, bro. It does. And
sometimes I don't have time to get my morning coffee, so that's the next best thing.
So you're a coffee guy.
Recently? Very recently.
Why?
I always hated it my whole life, and then like I don't know, I just like black coffee's like one of the only things that I could really drink the weeks leading up to the fight that wasn't water.
Yep.
So I got kind of really into that, and then whenever the fight was over, I started drinking kind of the sweeter stuff, and now I'm hooked, man. Now I'm hooked. I can't.
Another funny story. Now that because you mentioned Justin, and I were walking in the hotel because we stayed at the same hotel as you guys, and I walked by, and he was like, had a mission, walked right by me, and I'm like. And I was like this, and I go, I think I know him, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think he's with Ollie. And then at the fight, he's like, dude, I am so sorry. We had to do this thing. I had to get something for Ollie or do this or do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you're fine. Just like, I was like, I thought I knew you, but I was like, maybe it's a guy who looks just like
him. Yeah. No. Yeah. Who knows, man? It's always funny when me and him go on these fight trips. Well, like one of us is just like way out of it because like we're on cloud 9. We're like, I'm gonna go fight, like getting all nervy, getting all excited, like just like, and like in direct, the direct result of that is like, you know, me as a very forgetful human being as it is, like
right there
just being an idiot. And like I remember before his Nebraska fight, this is so funny. Like literally an hour before we have to be at the venue, he's like looking through his stuff. He's like, bro, I don't have my Mouthguard. We're in a hotel. We're in the middle of Omaha, Nebraska. And, you know, we're like, all right.
Where do we go?
So we go to Dick's, get him a mouthpiece. And then we get him a mouthpiece. We go back to the hotel, and we don't have any way to, like, you know, boil it. So we put it in a paper cup in water and put it into a microwave. And like we give it like 40 seconds because that's how long I usually put it when I'm boiling the water. We get it and it's literally like it's gone. It's literally the mouthpiece is gone, and we have to be at the arena in like 30 minutes, and we're freaking out. We're like, oh my god, like what the fuck are we going to do? Like this is like one of the only things that you.
I have liquid Mouthguard.
Yeah, like this is like one of the only things that like takes like actual effort to like make. You know, you've got to put it to your teeth. Like Mackenzie comes in and saves the day, and I think I had a mouthpiece in my truck that was just like, or not truck, my car that was just completely like you know, it was old.
Yeah, it
was an old mouthpiece that had been chewed up, and I was just like, yeah, we'll just put some soap on it.
I found it between my car and the seat.
So Mackenzie was like, hey, you know what you should do? You should put the water in the microwave and microwave the water first and then put the mouthpiece in. And
you were like,
thank you, Mackenzie. Sorry that I'm a stupid 20-year-old. So
I
yeah,
can't fight today. Why? You're like, I boiled my mouthpiece.
Yeah,
I don't. And it's gone.
but
I'm
yeah,
like,
no, it's
what the fuck?
the fight trips are always just funny because this time it was me, Mason, and Justin. And
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Did you guys all go out to that place together? On that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I this is where I'm old. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because I said, "Hey, text me." I was like, "Mason, text me when you guys go out, whatever." And we're at the hotel, and it's probably like 12:30, and I'm over here just like, I don't have glasses. I have perfect vision, but I have a book, and I'm reading his book, and I'm like in my jammies, and I'm just like, And then I get a text. It's like, "Hey, we're going to blah blah blah. It closes quick. We're gonna be there for a little bit."
Oh, are you talking about the night after the fights?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have texted me, man.
I know.
Mason is not the. Mason was having himself a time that night too. So.
And I was like this. I'm like, I could go, and I look Uber and this.
Oh
and that,
man,
and
Uber out there is ridiculous because it's like everybody's trying to get an Uber. I was stuck out there in Westport trying to get an Uber for.
Oh, dude.
I think an hour the other day.
It's crazy. And then I realized I never used the thing. So I'm like, oh man, I sound like I'm 45 years old. And I'm like, credit cards. I'm like, where's my wallet? I'm in my jammies. I'm like, I got some clothes. By the time it hits, it's like 12:45, close to 1. Then the Uber is going to take 30 minutes to get there. And I'm like, it closes at 1:30. By the time I get there, I'll be there for 10 minutes, have a drink, and then have to Uber back for another like 30, 40 bucks. And I was like, you guys have fun. I'll just sit here and read my book like an old man.
Hey man, that's kind of the weird thing about like most kids go to college and they go wild because like maybe they were sheltered in high school, but for like me, man, like I did all my having fun in high school, and now I'm the kid that like is like, I don't want to go out. I'm gonna sit in my house and watch TV.
Yeah.
Or read a book or
analyze the fight.
Exactly. Just like even just like sitting in my backyard, just listening to the sounds of nature. Just like sometimes I enjoy that more than. I mean, I can think on like a single hand the number of times I've actually gone out in the last like year.
Yeah, well, I mean that's good for you. For real,
Seriously,
that's really good.
like I mean, in the last year I can single hand.
I feel. So, I mean, I get it if like it's a, you just.
It's a special occasion.
Yeah.
But I don't even like drinking alcohol, to be honest, like at all. Like really, to be honest with you, like I enjoy it as like a social thing. Like if you want to come over and like have a couple of beers, like But I don't know. I don't know. It's like whenever I have to give it up for fight camps, and like I went like 2 months without having a single drop for this fight, and it was like that was not even challenging for me.
Yeah,
I didn't even think I didn't even think about it. Like it was like there was never a desire to even do it. Like so.
Well, that's part of that confidence in yourself too. Because when I was 20, I was like, oh my gosh, like out there is terrifying to me, or like job and this and that. It's not going the way I think it is supposed to go. And I'm like, how do I turn this shit off in my head? And I'm like, okay, we'll just drink a good amount. And then when you drink a good amount, then you're like, well, I could probably keep going with a good amount. And then you're in this day where you're like, now the next day's fucked. And I'm like, I don't like it. But then, of course, then the things come back, and I'm like, wow. If I just have a little, it's like a recurring cycle. And I just think that's part of your were you still, okay, let's see. Let's dial this back. When's your birthday?
August 22nd.
Okay, so you had just turned 20. Like when you came in here.
Whenever I came in here, yeah. Just turned 20.
The crazy part is, this is you to a T. I'm going to predict your 21st birthday. Ready? I don't know, guys. I don't think I want to go out.
We'll
like,
see.
You're 21. You're like,
it very much depends on if I have a fight or not. If I have a fight lined up, I'm not going to do anything on my 21st. I really won't. I might go out to dinner and like have a cheat meal. That might be my 21st. But if I don't have a fight lined up, I might have a little bit of fun. It's my 21st. Come on out, people. Let me have some fun. It's my 21st. But if, like I said, if there's a fight lined up, absolutely not. I don't care if it's 2 months out. Like once I hear that fight's lined up, not that I'm not always thinking like that, but
you are. I can
the
tell.
having fun side of things and like going out with my friends, and even if I'm not getting drunk, just going out in general, like I feel like I get really hermit like.
Yeah.
And I kind of stop talking to people and this and that, and
it's narrow visioned, man.
Yeah, it's maybe a bad thing socially, but just kind of how I work, how I operate these days.
I thought the same thing until, like, I said it on the last one. I think it's out right now. I think it posted like 30 minutes ago or whatever. But I was telling Trisha I shared something on Facebook, and it's really like a happy motivational, like things you should know before you're 21.
Yeah.
Also, everything that's on that list, he gets it. He's 20. Okay, so eat this. But I shared it, and then I realized that there's two very separate groups: guys who have a solid foundation themselves, who have a goal, and then the people who don't. And I'm like, that came very clear when the comments started just like going crazy. And I'm like, what? Because I shared it, drove to work, worked for 4 hours, go like this. Let me check the podcast, see if things going well, blah, blah, blah. And I go like this. Oh, I'm popular today. And I click on it and I go, oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm just going through them. I'm like, I'm not even here for any of these arguments. And
that's funny.
It's just that that was the whole thing. It was literally like Sam, Tristan, like people like rallying behind it. Like, you keep sharing that, Chase. Like, we get you. And then people who were like, you offended me with the things you said. And I'm like, I'm seeing two like groups.
Hey, man. The people that hate your opinions, fuck them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. See, now you're in, that's that group. And then there's this group. Yeah. And I wasn't going to take it down. I wasn't going to do shit. I was just going to leave it, call it good. And that's it. But that was something I was like, yeah, I'd rather be around those guys. They were more solid, right? And I'm like, that's where I want to be. And so to be able to have you in here, be able to talk to you, also reassure you that like you're on the right path. Like my brain said, keep moving, young buck. Like it just says keep going. But like you're on the right track. You have things set out for you. You have your mind right.
Yep. I like to think so. But
you're in good
still got a lot of work to do. So.
Oh, for sure. Always. Yeah. It's the art of perfecting something that can never be mastered.
Yeah, damn straight.
So, that's all the things I had. You got anything for me, bro? Anything you want to say?
I mean, this place is nice, bro. I love doing work here.
Oh, just wait. There's a lot more coming in this month.
Yeah, who do you have? You have any? Unless you want to keep it quiet. I feel that
we'll keep it quiet. I'd rather something else that's. I mean, you could probably relate to this with people in the circle now, and then friends for you were like, oh fuck off, like you're not gonna do this. Like the worst way to go about is like, hey guys, this is who's got like, do the thing, and then I'd rather just show you and be like, told you, like this is happening. But there's something else that I wanted to do, which is like. I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras. There's people who have been, like, coming to me and talking about going back into the gym and, like, getting some of these guys in their radar, doing some work for them. I'm like just for us to, do it because we love it that much. And I'm like, you, Mace, and Nick, like, all the guys that I know who would benefit from someone really professional behind the camera doing some kind of highlight work or helping sell some tickets or spreading it through the area. I mean, and I just do that because everybody in that room, like, fucking deserves it. You know what I mean? And so when big things are coming, like, that's another one we're working to get back in and do. And so you're on the radar, man. You're first up. So keep moving, young buck.
Yep. Yeah, man. Like I said, though, still got a lot of work to do, so. But,
hey, you put me on that list with the people that ask for tickets.
Oh, of course, bro.
Hey, excuse me. You put me on that list.
Of course,
it's like family, mom, and then it's like
Chase. Right below mom, Chase. Before my dad.
Right.
Before my brother.
Correct. Oh, yeah. Wow. I'm special.
Yeah, bro.
No, thanks, Ollie, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, bro, I appreciate you doing this again, man. It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Come back anytime.
You know, brother.
Are you actually, before we leave, are you going to the fights over there? If you do stop.
Which one?
The June, I think it's
17th?
June. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure.
All right. Looks like we're bringing.
I was maybe gonna fight on that card, but
wow, that quick.
I was thinking about it, but I think I'm gonna give it a little longer. You know, I'm so young. I got a lot of things I want to work really hard on this summer.
Yeah.
That's fixed. You know, so.
You're an ambitious dude, so I could see how that would be
Yeah,
on the
I want
radar.
my next performance to be better than the last and better than any others that I've had. So.
Let's rock and roll.
One way to do that is work for these next 3-4 months and walking in the cage the best version of myself.
Well, I'll see you in 3 or 4 months, bro.
That sounds good, brother. I'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.